Welcome, race fans, to Diecast Racing World. Welcome back to Diecast Racing World. Today we've got an exciting F1 race for our track. No, not those guys. Those guys are a little too big for the track. We are going to be running this 8-car head-to-head race, best of 3. First car to win 3 in each heat gets to move on. This is going to be fast. We've got a fantastic one-turn race for today. Our cars will come flying down the multi-lane start gate, hit that first big turn, and then make their way back down the track to the finish line. The biggest challenge in today's race is going to be managing this high banking turn. As cars come into the turn, as you can see, they've got to make their way cleanly through to get on to the rest of the race. Let's see how they handle it. And now it's time to take a look at our F1 vehicles for today's race. First up, we have Haas in the black and red livery with white tires. Kicksalba comes in with our next car. They've got that really interesting looking lime green package set up on their livery with the green tires. Red Bull F1. Look at that beautiful livery, well known around the world with those standout yellow tires. That bull on top is ready to race. One of the most well-known and oldest racing teams in F1, Williams, with the beautiful blue livery and blacked out tires. The junior Red Bull team, Red Bull Racing, but they're going with that very fast-looking red wheel package and, of course, the white Toro Rosso on top of their livery. McLaren stays true to their papaya colors, going with the papaya all over their livery. And look at those shiny papaya tires. This car is no doubt going to be fast. Next up, coming in with the blue racing tires, Alpine F1. And rounding out our field of 8, we've got an exciting Formula E car. This Formula E has a little bit of a different body style. Let's see if it can hold up against the F1 competitors. Our race brackets are now set for the first round of our 8-car tournament race. First up, we've got Red Bull going up against Alpine. Then we'll move over to Kicksalba taking on Williams. The next race will be our Racing Bulls going up against Haas. And finally, rounding out our 8, we've got McLaren and a special guest open wheel EF1 racer. Let's see who can win their brackets and take home the championship. In our first race, we've got Alpine in lane 2 with Red Bull in lane 5. These two cars will switch lanes once we get through the first race because this is a best of 3 race. We are ready for our first race. It's race day, ladies and gentlemen, and here they go. Screaming down the track, coming around the curve, and it looks like it will be Red Bull Racing to win the first race. Unfortunately, our Alpine did not make the big curve. And we've made our lane change here. We are set up for race 2. The cars have now changed lanes. Let's see if that makes a difference. They're out of the gate, coming through the first turn. Oh, massive wreck. Can the Red Bull finish? No. Red Bull cannot finish that race, so it's a DNF for both. We'll have to do it again. Let's take another look at this race. The Alpine has clearly taken advantage, but right there, just too much speed, cannot take the turn, runs into the Red Bull, and I'm not sure what happened to the Red Bull after the Alpine flipped. Maybe they blew a couple of tires because the Red Bull comes to a complete stop. Our cars have now been switched lanes, so we're ready to get to the next race. Red Bull's got the advantage. Can they bring it home? They're off. They are through the curve, and here they come. Oh! Alpine takes the second race. All right, this is our third and final race for this first match of races head-to-head, Alpine versus Red Bull. Now that each car has had a chance and they've won one race, it's going to come down to this. Who can get down that track first? Who can get to the curve? Who can make it through? Oh, and it's Red Bull. Alpine wipes out at the very beginning. Red Bull Racing is moving on. Wow, an exciting first race there, but the Red Bull is moving on. So we're going to put the Red Bull up here into round 2 to see who they will face after we finish our first bracket. But it's time to get to Kick-Sauber versus Williams. Lined up in our starting gate for the next race, we've got Kick-Sauber in green and Williams in blue. Again, this is the best of 3, and we're going to see who can take the first round here. Coming down the track, we are set. It's time to race. They're off and going. They're through the curve, and it is clearly Kick-Sauber winning the first race. We've switched lanes 2 and 5 for our cars to give everybody a good chance to make it through on both lanes. Let's see if Kick-Sauber can close out Williams. There they go down the track coming through, and it's going to be Kick-Sauber. And Kick-Sauber gets to move on to the next round. Our first 2 semi-finalists are set. Let's get to the next race. Racing Bull versus Williams. Our next 2 F1 cars are set up in the gate. Racing Bulls in lane 2, Haas in lane 5. Let's get to the race. Alrighty, this is our third match in round 1. They're out of the gate, they're down the track, through the curve, and we've got a winner in Racing Bulls. That race was a clinic put on by Red Bull. Let's take a look at it in a little slower motion here as the cars get ready to take off. They're coming down the 6-lane track, and you can see they're pretty even all the way until they get to the end, and then Red Bull really has a good move as they get into the big turn and is able to cross that finish line at least 3 car lengths ahead. In fact, the Haas comes in backwards. We've made our lane switcheroo now. We've got the chance to see Racing Bulls move on if they can pull out the second race. It's a best of 3. They're through the gate. Big crash. Oh no, it is a complete wipeout and a DNF for both cars. Let's do it again. Let's slow it down and see what happens in the big turn here. You can see the Red Bull is clearly in the lead, gets to the turn first, but the Haas kicks the Red Bull up into the air. Look at how high that Red Bull gets. Unbelievable, and somehow holds on to the curve, but has the last laugh, because as you can see here, the Red Bull is able to slow down the Haas, turn it around, and both cars simply did not finish the race. We're going to have to rerun. All right, hopefully both cars will make it through the turn this time. Again, Racing Bull has got the edge, 1-0. If they can win, they move on. They're down through, they're through the curve, and oh, it's backwards for both cars. But Haas is gonna have to go home as the Racing Bulls are moving on. It's time to get on to our final match in the first round, and we've got our McLaren going against the open wheel E-Racer. All right, race fans, it is the McLaren Papaya going against the E-Racer black and blue. Let's see who can get down the track fastest and take the first race. They're out of the gate, they are through the turn, and oh my, big collision. But McLaren, even though they got turned around and finished backwards, wins the first race. We've made our lane change, so now it's time to get our second race in. McLaren's got the 1 win to none advantage if the McLaren pulls it off. They move on. They're down the track. They're through the race. And oh, it's very clearly McLaren, as the E-Racer could not finish. Our McLaren is moving on to the next round. With the first round of racing in the books in this 8-car challenge, it's time to get into the semifinals. Our first semifinal sees both parts of the Red Bull Racing Empire going up against each other. Red Bull and Red Bull Racing, let's get to it. Well, this is the match in the semis I think some of us were looking forward to, seeing who is going to take bragging rights in the Red Bull Racing World. Only one can move on to the finals. It's very tense in the air at Red Bull Racing. We don't know who's going to win, but there they go, down the track, through the curve, very smooth. And Red Bull Racing takes the first one. The folks at Red Bull are really feeling the pinch. Can their junior racing team beat them in this F1 Hot Wheels race? We're off. It's down. Boy, it looks good. And oh, last minute, what a wipeout by the Red Bulls, leaving Red Bull ready to go on to the third race. Red Bull Racing, unfortunately, took a big spill coming through the turn and ended up upside down and not able to finish. Oh boy, you cannot have drawn this up better. It's not just for the chance to win the trophy. It's for bragging rights in the garage. We've got our final inner lane set up for our third and final race, which Red Bull is moving on. They are off and going through the turn. Wipe out, and Red Bull takes it and is moving on to the finals. Taking a look at the replay, let's take a look right there. The Red Bull Racing team hits the rail, flies up in the air, and literally lets the Red Bull go right underneath and just race on to victory. So Red Bull Racing is going to have to go back to the wind tunnel and figure out why they are flipping all the time on big turns. But our Red Bull Racing will be our first finalists in the tournament. With one of our finalists now waiting for the final round, it's time to put Kick-Salba up against McLaren Papaya versus Lime Green. And our McLaren versus Kick-Salba ready for their first semi-final race. First to three is going to move on to the finals, and they're out of the gate. Let's race. Coming down straight through the turn. Oh, and Papaya wins the first race. Kick-Salba suffering another devastating flip over on the one and only turn. Our cars have switched lane for the next race. They're ready to roll. McLaren has the advantage. They can move on with one more victory. They are down the chute through the turn. And ooh, so close. We're going to have to check the tape. Wow, what a finish. But as you can clearly see here, the Papaya just ekes out the victory over Kick-Salba. And you just saw it for yourself, race fans. Although it was an extremely close race, the Kick-Salba just did not have enough coming down the hill and through the turn and down the last straight. Our McLaren is moving on to the finals. Race fans, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that art is imitating life, because we've got McLaren and Red Bull going directly up against each other in the finals to determine who gets to claim the first F1 throne in our 8-race challenge. Let's get to the first race. And it all comes down to the finals. We've got two very fast F1 cars, Red Bull and McLaren. We almost could have predicted that these cars would get to the finals together. They are in lanes 2 and lanes 5 to start. The first race is ready to go. Let's see who our champion is going to be. The finals have arrived. Here we go. Race 1, McLaren versus Red Bull. Down the track they fly through the turn, and McLaren takes the first race. Just like all of our other best of 3 races, we've switched lanes now. McLaren's feeling pretty good about themselves. All they need to do is pull this one out to win. The gate's up, they're down the track, they're through the turn, and McLaren has become our champion. Unfortunately for Red Bull in that second race, they just couldn't handle that big curve one turn. End up flipped upside down, did not finish. McLaren gets the win. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, race fans from around the world. Just as Big Brother Lego is proud. And there you have it, race fans. The McLaren takes the first F1 race challenge, the 8-car race, best 2 of 3 in each heat. What a beautiful machine. Was able to take that high banking turn every single time. We hope you've enjoyed this Diecast Racing World event. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and even hit that bell to get the next race when it comes up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next race turn.